are coming.
What's going on, everybody? Robert Perry here, and we got some pretty cool things going on today. It's been a while. It's been a while since I posted a video. Crazy things have been going on. Some life events, none related to coffee, family issues. Also completed a ultra marathon here Saturday, a week ago today. Yeah, that was insane. Yeah, I think that's about it. So without no further ado, let's get started. So real quick, I want to roll through 10 things, not things, variables, kind of things that will affect the taste of your coffee. These are in no order, and these are pretty basic, so they're going to be for people that are just starting out roasting. Also, they're going to be kind of more geared towards people on smaller machines and people who are not like on high-end machines, such as like Lorings and stuff like that. This is basically just from my experience, my knowledge. There's probably a ton more out there. There's probably some that are more important. These are the ones that I kind of focus on, and the ones that I've realized that like if I change up any of this, it may affect the quality of the coffee, the taste of the coffee, for better or worse. Anyway, let's just jump into it. So first one, in no particular order, charge temp. So most of the time, if you're charging in a higher charge temp, you're going to have a higher turnaround temp, and you're also going to have a higher rate of rise from the beginning. And that's going to be vice versa if you're charging in a low temp. Depending on where you charge your roaster may depend on some of the quality of your coffee towards the end. 2 is preheating time. So the longer you preheat your roaster, the more conductive energy you're going to have in the metal of the roaster as the energy builds. If you complete a full preheat of your roaster, then your coffee will definitely heat up faster than you will if you run out of time or you're rushing it and you only preheat it to a little bit. So make sure you're preheating to the same time frame, same energy and all that each time. That way you'll have a more consistent rate of rise and everything in the beginning. 3 is the density of coffee and type, plus some of the moisture content and stuff like that in different types of coffee. Not all coffees roast the same. That was a big issue with me in the very beginning. I didn't realize that at all. The density of the coffee can have an effect on the speed in which the moisture of the coffee is pretty much evaporated. So with that being said, your roast strategy for a Kenyan is probably going to be completely different than your roast strategy for a Sumatra or something like that. So a lot of coffees are going to have different moisture contents you're going to have to deal with. They're going to have different densities. They're going to have different sizes. And for like moisture content and stuff, you just want to check with your supplier, whoever you're getting your beans from, to make sure that there's some type of quality check they're doing and stuff before they're shipping. Also, if you have the tools, you got the resources and all that, there's different instruments you can get to check your own as well. 4 is the convection and conduction of your roaster. So real quick, depending on the airflow, which is convection, the coffee will heat up faster or slower. The temperature of the metal drum in the roaster, that's your conduction energy. The higher your conduction energy is, the faster your coffee is going to heat up as well. So finding your happy place between convection, the airflow, and the conduction, the temperature of your roaster, and how much you heated it up and everything is going to be essential to the quality of your coffee at the end. The 5th variable is going to be fuel, depending on if you're using an electric roaster or a gas roaster or a propane roaster. The more fuel you give your roaster, the faster your coffee is going to heat up. Now, it's pretty obvious. This is probably one of the most important variables for the simple fact that if you can master your fuel level throughout the roast, then you can really start nailing down some consistent quality coffee. Literally just experiment, adjust, look up different methods. There's tons to learn here. Number 6 is the speed and the duration of the roast. And this is just me. In my opinion, shorter roasts that are underdeveloped have this grassy type of sour kind of, very acidic type taste. And if the roasts are super long and they're baked and they're just completely overdeveloped and they have that roasty bread type, just kind of bland taste where there's no snap to it, finding that happy medium here as well, depending on what machine you're using, it's going to become super important into achieving any type of consistency like that. Number 7 is the ambient temperature and the humidity. This is mostly for the people roasting outside or in their garage or something like that. If the temperature is hot and the humidity is super high, the roaster is going to perform completely different and roast completely different than if it's one of those cold, dry days of winter. So just make sure you do realize what profile you may be using in the summertime may completely change if you're out there in the wintertime roasting on the same machine. There's going to be some variable changes there that you're going to have to deal with. Number 8, the drop-in temp. The drop-in temp can be a great reference point for dialing in your light, medium, and dark roasts. Hitting these key drop temps at your specific development times will be very, very handy in hitting consistency in the quality of your coffee. Number 9 is the batch size. So this was one of those in the beginning, it's kind of obvious now, but I just didn't think about it. And my roasts were all over the place, and I'd cup later, and I just didn't understand why it was changing each time. Well, a lot of it had to do was because one day I'd be roasting 1 pound, one day I'd be roasting 4 pounds. I would say for beginners, if you're just starting out, pick one batch size and learn to roast at that batch size. Usually the manufacturers recommend, if you have a 2 kilogram machine, you could probably do about 4 pounds or something. That's probably fine. In the beginning I didn't realize, but smaller batches can really get away from you. Once you start getting the heat and stuff going, the heat can get all over the place because in the beginning you're giving too much fuel, then you try to adjust and you overcorrect, and then it's crashing, it's just all over the place. Larger batch sizes in these smaller machines, I don't know about big ones, I've never roasted on these larger machines. On the smaller machines, your larger batch size for the machine is going to be your easier ones to control. Number 10, which is basically just miscellaneous. So there's a few things that I haven't experimented with enough yet, which one is the drum speed. I know it has some effect, but I usually just keep mine on what's recommended from the manufacturer and what I've kind of looked up, which is around 65 to 70 RPMs. There's other things, such as the size of your roaster, that's going to play a big portion of it. If you're switching roasters, just know that the profile you may be trying to hit or use or something like that, that's not all roasters roast the same. So probe placement, if for some reason you're moving the temperature probes around and stuff like that, so just know that it's going to change things up. There's other things like between batch protocol and stuff like that try to have a standard in between batch protocol that you can use every time. Other than that, guys, that's pretty much about it. Guys, now let's get on to the good portion of it. So, completed my first ultra Saturday, and I'm not gonna lie, I feel pretty damn good. Like, my legs feel good. Actually, I'm back to normal now. So good. I think I got 4th, which sounds great, but there was only 8 people. So, yeah. Well, if y'all have any questions, y'all hit me up in the comments. And I appreciate y'all's time, appreciate y'all's help, appreciate y'all coming and viewing. Thank you so much.